Peter Blackie Black and Tim Rogers, welcome to Australian Musician.
Hello.
Good to be here, man.
Tim Rogers, you are the new vocalist frontman of the Hard-Ons. How the hell did that happen?
Always just happens with a simple phone call. The audition process was trying to keep up with the speed of Ray Ahn's brain over the course of an hour phone call. Whilst I'd been at the bowling club for 2 days. So, we've known each other a long while. First time played together over 30 years ago. It was an unusual request, but I never been so excited about something in my life, and it's been just life affirming so far. And that, we've only played one show, but so yeah, my life is affirmed.
So, Blackie, why was Tim the right fit for the band?
Man, I'd have to ramble as much as Ray to answer that properly. So, I'm not going to take an hour because, look, he just is in lots of different ways. We've known each other forever. We cross-pollinate a lot in terms of, what our musical ideas and preferences are. I don't know. And we both seem to have, we both have a very openness and willingness to keep moving forward, which I think is like obviously one of the most important things for the Hard-Ons, because we've never been one of those bands to, look, it's been 20 years. We should do greatest hits tours from now on. We always wanted to keep going further and further. And, when we lost Cash, I never once considered going back to singing. I just didn't want to do it. And it was Ray's suggestion. He said, I'm going to ring Tim. And both me and Murray were excited because pretty much instantly you could hear, that would be a shit hot fit. And, we proved it. So Ray maybe he's a little bit of a genius.
Blackie, obviously naming a band the Hard-Ons, you didn't care about offending anyone. You didn't care about commercial success. What was the initial goal of the band?
Look, when we thought of the name, we were literally 15, 16. We all went to a boys' school, public boys' school, which I think is barbaric. And we kind of wanted to offend everyone, really. I mean, we just thought it was punk rock. And, when people say, man, the name of your band's really immature, it's like, oh, duh. Well, fucking 15, went to a boys' school, we're as immature as fuck. We certainly weren't worldly gentlemen. But, being offensive is very different from, being disrespectful. Like, if some people ever thought, well, that's really disrespectful to women, I was a little bit at first, because it's more like, man, as I said before, we went to a boys' school. We're a bunch of fucking virgins. We don't even know how to talk to women. Like, a hard-on for us is, that's our, what do you call it? Our adolescent fucking hormones raging with absolutely no way to, get rid of it. It's like we're taking a piss out of ourselves, but, also everyone else as well. And it wasn't something that we didn't sit there and go, what are the ramifications going to be? We were just a bunch of little kids just going for it.
Yeah.
So definitely no disrespect meant to anyone.
Yeah. Ray recently said in an interview that risk-taking is a stroll in the park for the Hard-Ons. It's a no-brainer for the Hard-Ons to take risks. How do you feel about that statement, Blackie? And Tim, do you see that in the band too?
Look, yeah, I don't so much see it as a risk. Like, for me, I see it more as we're really quite protective of our, I guess the only way I can really describe it, look, I'm not good at putting words together, but, for me, it's like, I really see it as our musical freedom. Like, we're very artistically staunch in having everything 100% our way. So taking risks, you know, we don't really see it as a risk. It's always fucking an adventure. You know, like we did something with Rollins. It was shit hot fun. You know, we did something with Jerry A. It was fucking incredible. You know, Tim's now our new singer and, you know, new band member. It's fucking wonderful. You know, I don't know if they're risks. You know, they're more like just furthering, you know, just cruising along, one adventure after the other, and each one seems to get better.
What do you think about that statement, Tim?
Oh, I can only agree 100%. You know, one of the biggest risks I could see in the Hard-Ons early in was how completely decent they were to everyone. This whirling dervish of power and ferocity on stage. And then I remember the first time we played with them, it was just, you know, do you need anything? Whether it's a beer or a lift of an amp. And that was kind of almost a risk then, because there was so much posturing going on, mostly, of course, by myself back in 30 years ago. And it seems that from the very first time I stepped in a rehearsal room, we got into a conversation about, there was, you know, fatherhood, Deep Purple, and just kind of went on from there. And so the risk-taking is really just rabid enthusiasm. The drive to our show in Woy Woy the other day was the first chance that Blackie and I got just to sit in the car and listen to records together. And it must have got annoying because I asked about 100 questions. But each album that the band's done, the breadth that they've shown over the years, I think it's, just enthusiasm. I think risk for risk's sake, when you've got that much enthusiasm and also knowledge, because the band's knowledge of music is intense, and also of living and touring and how to treat people. And I mean, the tour stories are so great. All my tour stories sound like they're ripped from a, you know, book from 1972. But speaking to the guys and their ways of touring, it's about how to navigate each day and where to find good record stores, where to find a bit of food every now and then. And but yeah, it seems like the riskiest thing for the band to do for me wasn't playing, you know, occasional death metal or grindcore or then playing pop music. It's being really flippant, decent human beings. I mean, all I've experienced since being in the band, apart from the occasional abusive message, has been watching the love that people have for the band, because when they go and see them or listen to those records, they know that artistically there's so much going in, but also how much personality. And I mean, this gig in Woy Woy the other day, I haven't been in a more loving environment since I was in a cult 30 years ago. It was nuts, you know, and people being that close, and sweaty people, Greg. It was sweaty people.
So how many of the new tracks did you slot into that set?
About 7 or 8. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things I wanted to bring was that if people think that the Hard-Ons are just a 2.5-minute buzzsaw band, which, you know, I guess a lot of the first 3 or 4 records was, but just what's gone on in the past 10, 15 years and these albums that I just covet so much, and these songs. And when the guys asked me, would you mind writing a set list? And I called my best mate Nick and said, shit, I've just got a set list, but it's about 120 songs. And so if people are, that's a lot of rehearsing here. If people who aren't familiar with, you know, the last 7 Hard-Ons records, I just really want people to hear them. And that's what most of the conversation's been like. If you like that riff's been taken, go and get Peel Me Like an Egg, go and get Alfalfa Males, you know, just go and get Most People Are Nicer Than Us. There's just so many great tracks on each record.
Yeah. So you've got a new album out, I'm Sorry Sir, That Riff's Been Taken. Tim, that sounds like a Tim Rogers line to me. Did you come up with the title?
It's actually not, no.
No?
It's not, no, it's all Blackie's.
I was channeling you, Tim.
I know.
I'm ripping you off, mate. You're in a band now. I'm allowed to rip you off.
I'd consider that a privilege, mate. I think you and I got asked to do a compilation in England when we were signed to a guy, Graham Coxon, who was the guitarist in Blur. And he's still a great mate. And he said, well, I want to put a compilation. What are we going to call it? And we called it No Sir After You, because our politeness has often been a surprise to people. I mean, we can also be braggarts, but then, so we call it No Sir After You. And the first thing I thought when Blackie offered, I'm sorry, sir, that riff's been taken. One, it's a better title than No Sir After You, which was also a reference to our career at the time. But the English label went, seriously? What's with this kind of faux politeness? But I love the title, but I had nothing to do with it apart from being channeled, and I feel, a little bit violated. That's all right.
So how did these songs come together? Do you have a lot to do with the songwriting, Tim?
No, not at all. Blackie sent me all the demos, and I just jumped on them straight away and asked, do we want to do a twin guitar thing? Do you want me to write some lyrics? I wrote lyrics for 2 songs. But now we're on to a whole bunch of new songs that Blackie sent around, and it's similar. It's just like getting a present. You just take it away, and some of them Blackie's written all the lyrics for, and others he'll say, what do you think about this? And I love working that way. There's no formality to it. It's just when you start writing a song and then you just imagine who's in the band. I mean, I'm sort of champing at the bit to play a song, and I imagine Murray drumming, or what Pete's going to play guitar on it. But while Peter Black is the most prolific songwriter in the world at the moment, I'm just sitting back and taking the presents, man. And if he asks me to write some lyrics, then I'll get the thesaurus out and get pretentious.
Tim's just being modest.
Not.
No, you kind of are. No, you are. I mean, look, when there's a band, okay, yeah, there's usually a primary songwriter, that's, blah, blah, blah. But a band is a band. And, if I come up with something, Murray will do his best to, fucking drum like a shit hot, fucking demon. And, Ray will do the most tastiest runs ever. Tim as well added a whole lot of vocal flourishes to this new record that were never on a Hard-Ons record before. And I was in glee when he was putting them down. And there were a bunch of times as well as I got an idea, can I go for it? It's like, fucking go for it. So, his flavor, color, whatever you want to call it, flourishes to the tracks are at times fucking immense. And even as he said before, there was a couple of songs that he wrote the lyrics to. That also took those ideas to another level. So for me, Tim was saying before, I really want everyone to hear the last 10 years of the Hard-Ons. I just can't wait to do the next 10 years, because right now it's pretty fucking exciting for all of us.
Yeah.
And, what us four coming together has produced.
Which of the new tracks were going down well in Boy Boy?
When we did Hold Tight, that was something else. But they all went down really well. The new albums received all the new tracks, all the tracks that we played off the new record were. I was blown away.
Yeah. It was actually, Greg, something a bit palpable and I think it was when starting Hold Tight, and this energy surge just went up. And I guess maybe for long-term fans of the band, when you hear a new record and then you hear it live, there is a real thrill for that. You want to hear songs that you love so much, you want to hear every time. But I haven't really experienced that. Even with you and my, it's pretty much our second and third records that people want to hear and nothing else. But for the Hard-Ons to go out and us to play 7 or 8 new songs. And I don't know, maybe even early next year when we're doing those shows, we'll be playing new songs that aren't even on I'm Sorry Sir. There'll be new ones. That'd be kind of gutsy, and it would also be a very hard-ons thing to do, because it's, as PB said, it's all about looking forward, and the next 10 years are looking extremely exciting. I might even stay here in this rehabilitation unit for it and get myself fit. Who knows? Yes.
Well, judging by the first performance, we all looked all right with our shirts off.
Oh yeah, says bloody you. My God, it was. I think my partner's taken a couple of those photos and stitched them beside the bed, and she's not looking at me, I can tell you. No, it was, and the fact that we just set up in this little pub, and our relationship with, well, the band's relationship with the owner, who released the first Hard-On single. And if there was any skepticism as to what was going to happen, I know we didn't go in particularly nervous. We just went, let us at them. Support band played, and they were great, very different style to us. But then you've never seen a band set up so quickly in your life, and we had to move a lot of people out of the way. And I paid more attention to my microphone stand than I've paid more attention to relationships in the past. It was just, let us out of that cage, man. We're coming for you.
Yeah. The band has always had a big following in Europe. If COVID ever settled down, would you consider going back and touring with this lineup?
And that's not even a question you have to ask. I'll renew my visa right now. Yeah, fucking oath. That's my answer. Fucking oath in capital letters, underlined as well.
I've actually already packed my suitcase. It's essentially just a big bag of porridge and my medication. But apart from that, I mean, what else do you need?
It's books for the drives.
There you go. Yep. Always like going to new bookstores overseas though. But I'm going to come around to Greg's and nick that Jaco Pastorius biography, and we'll be ready to go. So thanks, Greg. We do appreciate you supplying us with reading matter.
Mate, you'll have that when I'm finished with it. Look what I scored the other day.
Yeah, mate.
Some blinds?
In one of those
oh, cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was in one of those libraries that, when I walk up to get my coconut milk. Yeah, I saw this and it's like, who's thrown that out? It looks like it wasn't even red. Someone must have got it as an early Christmas present. I went, fuck, I don't need that. It's like, well, I do. Idiots.
That's it. We're off to Europe. See you later.
Yep, ready. Packed. Singlet. Fucking Bruce Lee. Watch for the Tabata.
Blackie, I've been watching you play that SG for years and years. I never knew the story of how you acquired it. Is there a bit of a story?
No, not really. Man, back in the early days, guitars were obviously way more reasonably priced what they are now. But that one that I love to death, and I think I've had it close for 30 years. There was a shop I went to a lot, and it was hilarious. It was one of those old school classic shops where the owner knew way more than you did about everything, even about your relationship with your parents. They knew it all. So, you talk to them and it's like, oh, fuck, I can't wait to get out of here. But I was looking at all these SGs and I goes, oh, mate, for what you do, you fucking need this one. I was looking. And then right at the end was this really cheap one, which is the one I ended up with. And I picked it up and it's like, this fucking feels amazing. And I plugged in and it's like, fuck, it sounds even better than it looks. And I go, why is it so fucking cheap? And he goes, well, look at the headstock. And I looked and I couldn't see what he was pointing out. And he goes, it's fucking different color. And I went, oh, okay, yeah, there was a hue. So apparently it broke in the shop and they repaired it. But because it broke and they arrow dyed it back together, it was like half price. And I'm like, mate, that's my price. And yeah, it's been my little baby ever since. I've broken it since then 3 times, and I've just been very lucky that I've always had people who are magicians with guitar repairs. So, yeah,
And
that's the story.
Jim, are you breaking out any guitar in this band?
I don't feel a need to at the moment. I think the sound of the band is there's enough going on there in Blackie's hands and in his mind and in his heart. And I'm not sure. I mean, I do like playing guitar, but I've got to admit I really love singing with the band without having a guitar on my shoulder. So not at the moment, and we'll discuss it if it comes up. Maybe even give it a try in the studio or in a rehearsal room. But you know, the sound is wide enough. It's panoramic enough with just what Blackie can do, and I actually find that really inspiring to hear that one guitar and what it does and the choices you make, because you don't replicating the records with all the guitar harmonies or different guitar parts. It kind of isn't necessary, and we do talk about that a lot within UMI as well, about, well, we spent so much time making this record, maybe we should try and replicate it. And we come to the decision, well, no, the live experience is for us very different. I mean, if I was going to see King Crimson, for example, I'd miss certain harmonic things that can happen with that instrumentation, but I'd also be really intrigued to hear them not try and replicate records and to the choices that you make in either leaving things out or just having a shade in there. I always thought there was something to leave the audience to have in the back of their mind, whether it's a harmony or a percussion instrument or hand clap or whatever it is, and to let the audience get those going in their head or shout them out. Or I never went to music school, Greg.
I mean, look, who knows what the future will bring. I do like, I don't know, when we play live, I do like keeping it simple so there's rarely any fuck ups. It's like bang, 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 bang from one bit to the next. As soon as you start adding more shit, it might start changing the sound, which not a bad thing. But yeah, I don't know. But I mean, because this is all new, let's just see what happens.
I think if I agree with that, but if you find that trying to get the sound more complex, and if that's, I think with us compromising the energy of the performance, I think at the moment that'd be a bit of a mistake. But you know, who knows what we're going to be thinking next year? But it's not really a thought at the moment.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm sorry, sir, that riff's been taken, is out now, and everybody should buy themselves a copy for Christmas. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for your time, Greg.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us, man.